right, this is a 2003 Palomino pop-up camper. This video is A, to show you how to set it up, B, to see how fast one person can set it up on their own, and C, we're currently trying to sell this bad boy or girl, so it's for people who are interested in buying it to take a look and see the condition and quality. All right, let's go for it. First, get out the 2 cranks. 1 crank, 2 cranks. The first thing we want to do is level the camper, make it level. So I look for parallel lines between the bottom of the camper and the ground, both from the front, or the side really, as well as from the back. We need to level the camper side to side and front to back. From this side, it is pretty level, and I do that with the crank on the front. It's already done though. Second, I use this to lower the feet on the sides. So looking from the back, we're a little bit tilted this way, so I need to lower these 2 more than the 2 on the back. And that is in a clockwise action. Level this way too. Great, so now I'm just gonna lower the 2 on the back. Okay, so now it's level, we can raise the roof. Side note, if you're doing this for like perfect leveling, use a level. They make magnetic ones, you can probably stick right on there. Unlatch those. So here's the front. The tongue, I guess it's called. Your propane goes here, your battery goes here. There is a new battery in here that comes with it. It does not come with a propane tank. Insert your crank here. And then again, clockwise to open, counterclockwise to close. That's your guide to know when to stop. So, when it gets snug but not too tight, stop. Perfect. On each side, the canvas is all tucked in, and there are these 2 straps. The supports are stored in here under the bed, so I like to pull the front bed out first over the tongue, and then get the supports for both the front and the back. Then I pull out the back one and put the supports in right away. Supports. The 2 shorter ones go in the front, the 2 longer go in the back. So under here, we've got this little nub thingy by the plywood, and that goes in there. And then on the tongue, there's a slit here on both sides. The other end goes in there. And on the back, same thing, just there's no tongue. It goes onto the metal of the bumper. Next, inside of the camper, you put these other poles. And with this, it's opposite. The longer one goes in the front. The shorter one goes in the back. Okay, so these are put on from inside the camper, but it's one of the things that has to be done early on before you can close the door and just only work on the inside. Okay, so from inside, you're looking for that black nub thingy and that at the top. I'm going to try to hold this by hand to show it. So over here, this is getting inserted onto that little nub and pushing the whole back up like that. And it should line up with the seam, like the stitching seam that's slightly under the pole right now. And then at the top, there's this little hook thing, and there's a hole. And the little hook comes on the inside of the pole. And then the other one, same thing. Sink up, door down. Watch. So for the sink, you just come and lift the thing up, because you can't take the door down until you lift the sink up. Just grab and lift, super easy. So inside, if you look at the ceiling, okay, the top part of the door is attached to the ceiling by these things. Little like clips that you undo to let the door down. Okay, and beware when opening it, sometimes it comes loose from driving if you're like on dirt roads. And then carefully let it down. This like hinge action thingy up here, it's confusing. That metal slab goes like this when the camper is in use, but then when it's stored, it actually goes up. So first, lift the door up out of your way and shut the bottom. Then line up those black thingies with the slots that go in, which is easier said than done, especially if you're not perfectly level. So you can see where it is on that side and that side. Then from over here, you want to lock the two parts of the door together with this thing. Okay? And there we have it. Then the next thing to check is if we're lined up here, which we are not. There's a bunch of air. So I'm going to raise the roof of the camper another like 2 inches, and then that'll lay flat and not have a gap. And then I can use this to keep it that way. So we open. Oh, right. Up here, there's also a latch that needs to be in place to stow the door. So now that it's reset and usable, we undo that and then open from here. Hi, Fig. Good girl. She's our happy helper. All right, another inch or so. All right, looks good. You want to snap these to the corner. This one goes here. 2 snaps. Then you line up your Velcro here. Nice and tight. Latching the latches that I showed before from the inside at the top. All right, and then there's 2 supports that are just an extra safety to put over these. The triangular sides go at the top. Straighten out this while you're at it. Put that on. Velcro this. For both sides with the beds. You got a nice mattress you can see on the inside. Under it, there's Velcro. There's also dryer sheets. Dryer sheet smell keeps some mice out, so through this tour you'll see them all over the place. It's got no mice damage at all, which is kind of a miracle and amazing. So this one, this like white, there's an over one and an under one. One goes under the mattress and connects to that Velcro in there. Okay, one under. This is easier to do not holding the camera. Okay, so one goes under the mat. And then this one Velcros under here, comes around and Velcros. So you pull it nice and snug, tight. And then, even after you do that, so that leaves a gap here, and for that, there is this lovely raincoat sort of thing that covers over, and that goes around the entire back. And she's set up from the outside, and now we can go in. Let's see. I'm at 23 minutes and 40 seconds, which with making a video isn't bad. On my own, without talking to a camera, it takes me about 10 minutes to get everything right. Mind you though, the door, there's a learning curve with that, and that might take you 10 minutes by itself the first time. But overall, it's an easy setup, totally doable with just one person. Yeah, easy peasy. Let's go inside and see about things in there. All right, so when we drive, this is the way everything was stored. This like tube of whiteness inside of there are all of the holes and things for the awning. We didn't actually set up the awning. We never even took the time to try to figure it out. The parts are all there. So FYI, there's an awning. We started to roll it out. It's clean and nice, but in terms of like actual functionality, it's there. It should work, but we didn't set it up, so I can't really speak to that. All right, so we have, when the camper is fully closed, nice curtains. There's no mold or damage or anything really to any of the fabric parts. It's all pretty nice. It's just 20 years old, but it's definitely clean, other than like if you see those black smudges, those are grease stains from folding it up because all the moving parts are greased. So if you're seeing that thinking, ew, mold, it's not, it's grease. And this bed here, it also has a table underneath, which I'll show, and that's where the storage is for the stove. There's even a rail on the wall there for it. Then when you set up the stove, which we left behind, again, I'm not going to speak to setting up the stove. It works, but we did not use it. But it comes up here, and you slide it into this rail. And there's also a spot on the outside of the camper where you can put the stove, should you want to. On the other side, cushion storage underneath, cushions on top for if you want it to be a bed. Another table option over here, which I'll show the setup of, and the other big bed back there. Storage here. There's a door. There's a cabinet with a wheel well in it, so there's not that much room in this one. When you take the cushions out, there's another storage cabinet here. And there's a refrigerator here, which we weren't using the battery to keep this thing cool, so we just used the refrigerator as storage for things that needed to be like in a sealed space, like dry goods. But you can use it for a fridge if you want. All right, so for the stove, you pull it out from under here. And you put it, okay, and then that opens up, dryer sheets. And you can use it like that, or if you're like, I don't want to cook in the camper, then you put it outside on the rail out there. On the inside of the camper, the windows in this like little living area part have this tinted plastic, and then the windows in the bed parts have canvas and then screen. So they're slightly different from each other. On both the front and the back, there's an exit sign and there's another zipper. Let me try to find it. So in terms of security, not the most secure, so we never left anything valuable in here. But for safety, very good. Should there be a fire or something, you can unzip and climb out. And that's the same on the other side. Fire exit over there as well. Okay, so for this table on this side, the cushions come off. And then while we're at it, let's check out the storage on this side. Most of your storage is on this side, like the front where the tongue is on the outside. This is one of the storage areas that's quite large. This piece And this piece, these are part of setting up the table. I mean, sorry, not the table. The stove outside. This is like a little table that goes next to the stove. And this is the support bar that holds it up. This tube is the table leg support. If you choose to use the table that is, hi Fig, on that side, the back side of the camper. And there's another storage, same exact size as that one, on this side. Just lift. And in there right now, this is the screen room tent that goes around the awning. It has not yet been used. It was new in the box when we bought the camper. And then I took it out of the box to bring it with us, but it's not even been like untied and set up. So brand new one of those. And then to set this table up, it's just on legs. On this side, take off all the cushions. Here's your table, which accepts that pole I showed in here and in there underneath to become a little bench area. This is not a storage compartment. Contains, ooh, it's stuck. Contains tubes, hoses, and this is how you connect all of your stuff if you're going to use electric or water. We used the electric when it was provided at campgrounds, and it works smashingly. Again, not black mold, grease of some sort. This one, this is not a storage compartment, has half empty. There's a very flimsy piece of wood there, dividing the two. And then you've got your electric, whatever that is over here. Sorry for the lack of knowledge on that stuff. We did store some light things in this side. And then the final side. This one is a storage compartment. You can store right in there, and it also has the access from under here. Okay. Let's look at the ceiling. We've got the thing we have to put in to support. We've got a clothing hanging device. Don't use that as a sissy bar. It's not that strong. We've got a light for if you're plugged in. We've got these two hook thingies for storing the door when it is in travel mode. On the other side, we have got another light. We've got some paint bubbling, which is strange. I assure you there is not water damage to this camper. But there are these, and they're full of air, not liquid. They've always been there, so I don't know. Maybe it was too hot when the paint was drying. I have no idea. This fan was the thing that was like a huge plus when we were camping and did have electric to plug into. You just use this to open it from, open the lift thingy on the outside. And then you can decide if you want air to come in from outdoors or get sucked out of the camper and go out with this switch. And it was definitely amazing to have. That's all about the ceiling. Floor, my shoes. The floor is just linoleum. It's got some scuffs, but it's nothing bad. Just scuff marks from things rubbing while it was in transit. And then we have got my beautiful doggy down here taking a nap. She's not included with the purchase. In terms of animals in the camper, the people we purchased this from, we were like, have you ever had cats or dogs in it? And they were like, ew, no. So we're like, all right, great. Again, a super, super clean camper. You open it up and it doesn't smell bad, which is totally rare and wonderful. All right, camper quirks. Again, the door. the door latch here, right? This only really will like stay shut if the camper is perfectly level. So have that in mind. The most time consuming part is getting the door figured out and making sure this is level so that will stay shut. You can see there's some wear and tear where the door closes too, although it's still the same, like comes out the same distance it should, but there is wear and tear there. And then when it closes, now I'm on the outside, you have to make sure you're level or it just won't stay shut. It's staying shut now because it is level, but that is something that we did have to fight with to figure out. This door, you have access to storage from the outside, but we don't have the key for that, so you don't have storage from the access from the outside. This rail here is where you can put the stove and the little side table that goes with the stove. The stove goes on here. There's a slot here to insert the support pole. You've got your hookup things, some electric, and so on. And we do have the key for this. But again, I wouldn't leave valuables in this. You would treat this camper like a tent, not like a huge RV. Like, think of it as a tent. It comes with a spare tire that we fully inflated before we went on our trip, just to make sure everything was all set. So that is there for you. All right, everything looks really nice back here too. We have got hookups back here. I don't even know what they are. I think that's the electric one. Yeah. You've got water hosey things over here that I don't know anything about, but they exist. And from what I understand, they work. So on the back side of the camper rail, this rail here can stick when pushing it back in because it's missing a bolt that goes from there into there and attaches on the inside. We haven't had any problems getting it out and then back in, other than it can be sticky, and we've had to try a couple times in order to like eventually get the right angle for it to go in. But I do have the parts for it. I'm going to attempt to fix it, but you could also attempt to fix it. The awning comes out of this up there. And then, like I said, we didn't use that or the screen house. The pipes and things that go with it are here. And then also included is this pump. I don't know what it goes to or how it works or if a new one is needed, but it was included when we bought the camper, so it is included with the camper now as well. It's got this. I don't know if this is the new one or the old one or what. Thanks for watching. Bye.